Hey, welcome to Steph's world. And it's actually a little cold down here, so I'm wearing this for real, because I'm really a little cool. Now I do have my heater on, which is unusual during the day here in this part of the world. We're probably getting the tail end of Sandy. I mean, this sucker is big. If you watch it, from, way up high in the big sky. Hey, I'm a poet and I don't know it. It really is a huge, huge storm. And I'm praying for all of you. And Matthew Report, please don't be Mr. Cool Guy and do all that. Get the heck out of there, okay? I used to kind of be that way myself, I'm this cool girl. I'll do anything I want. And you're not going to tell me what I can't do. Yeah, I was that way. Yeah. Till, let's see, I broke my back. I had a husband break my neck. All that fun stuff, okay? Yeah, it was real fun, let me tell you. But anyway, fortunately, that part of my life is long over with. Sadly, there are serious repercussions that go along with when you have lived that kind of life, which I did. This is Steph's World, according to Steph, part 19, Spiritual Foundations. I'm fussy today. Yesterday I was so sick, man. I lost everything in my body, everything, and I mean, and one time when that happened, I couldn't, I'm crutching it, I'm caning it, and I couldn't get my body to any bathroom fast enough, so it was a nightmare. Now yesterday, I knew I was sick right from the moment I woke up, even besides all the usual horrible pains that I live in. But I knew that, well, okay, we got a stomach problem today. Good idea to try to stay in bed, which I didn't do. Of course not. Not Steph. And I was so mixed up, I thought yesterday was Monday. Uh-huh, yeah. I even went out and checked my mail. I know my neighbors were thinking, wait a minute, the disabled woman's out here. And they were all mowing their grass and everything. It was a beautiful day. I mean, just gorgeous. Absolutely beautiful. And I knew then that, okay, we're not going to get the hurricane. God, thank you. Dear Lord, thank you. But sadly, a whole bunch of you are going to get the hurricane. And the good news is that most of my family, not all of them, my ex-husband's family, who were Matt's, my son and my daughter's relatives, they're on the East Coast. They're in Delaware. Now, they can go down to Texas and get away from it. They have family all over the place. So I pray that that's what they're doing. I don't talk to my ex-husband very often, but with our son's birthday coming up, we have started to grow a little closer together because of that. If you ever lose a child, it doesn't matter what horrible things you did to each other when you were married. Um, when you finally start growing up, and you're 59, 62 years old, you seriously begin to behave like normal, loving adults, and you give care to each other because you need it. And that's what God wants us to do, to care for each other because we need it. Touching someone on their shoulder and their back is a good thing. It's nothing to be afraid of. It's just a sign of endearment and of, hey, I'm rooting for you. Don't ever be afraid if someone does that, because they're not, most of the time, they're not after anything or trying to get anything. They're just giving you a little love, okay, in their own little way, in their own careful way. Because we humans are, we got this thing going, and I know because I lived with it for years and years and years, and who wouldn't when you were kept a POW after your very first marriage and had the living hell beaten out of you and the whole 9 yards, which I'm not going to get into it. You can read my book. It describes it in beautiful detail, plenty of detail. I don't have to tell you everything. In fact, I did try to tell a gal everything, and guess what? She went running out of my house, and I've never seen her since. True story. Anyway, when I talked to you on video 18, it was about our character defects. Okay, that's what I was trying to get to. It's something that as adults we have to start becoming aware of. We have to start admitting that, I got a bunch of defects here and I think I better take a look at them. Yeah, I know I did, okay? And it was only because of the help of wonderful spiritual advisors. I could never have done that on my own. I wouldn't have known what books to read, what to do with anything. You can't just pick the Bible up, read it, and think you know everything, okay? Doesn't work that way. Or you can't pick the Quran up and read it and think you know everything. I'm sorry, guys, I'm going to talk about it. A holy book is a holy book. And I don't care where it came from. Actually, they all came from God, period. So let's all be in agreement on that, okay? Religion is not allowed in my world, all right? We're not religion here. We're of God here. Okay, now y'all can call God he, she, whatever. I don't, okay? I call God my creator. Now, there's a reason for that. One of my books, it's really fantastic the way that this writer, Emmett Fox, put it. He was an excellent writer. He was an excellent, he gave lectures and speeches all over the country, all over the world, as a matter of fact. And he talked about God. And he talked about a lot of different things about God, things that people didn't even realize back then. This is back in the 20s and the 30s. And this guy, to me, was definitely a 20th century prophet. There is no question about it in my mind. He was bringing the word of God to all of us. And he wrote about 15 books. And some of them are simply his sermons, okay? They just published his sermons, which were really cool. But anyway, in one of his books, I think it's your Alter Your Life book. It's pretty deep, actually. I don't usually recommend that anyone start out reading that one. Sermon on the Mount's my big choice. If you're going to read Emmett Fox, start with Sermon on the Mount and the Our Father. He does a wonderful job of really breaking down what Jesus said to a multitude of people. A multitude of people. And he did it so well that those people actually understood. Amazing. How many times you go to a speech and you understand every single thing? Because I'd like to know one of you. I don't believe anyone ever understands every single thing that's said. But these people did. And by word of mouth, they repeated it over and over again, just like the Native Americans did. I'm part of that family too, by the way, which I have mentioned. The Shawnee, that's where this comes from. I got a wolf. That was my mother's tribe's totem, the Shawnee. Yeah, I got reddish hair, and I look Irish, and I am Irish. My daddy's an Irishman. Southern one, too. That's a dangerous mix. But anyway, getting back to the deal here. The Sermon on the Mount's a good place to start within it. Kind of mellows things out a little bit, and it's just a good place to start. You jump into some of those other books, and you might it might be too much for you. I don't know, but my spiritual advisors started me out on Sermon on the Mount. Now, I read another book called Women Who Run with Wolves. Now, this was written by a super psychologist. Now, right at the moment, I can't think of her full name, okay? Bear with me. If I got online, I'm sure I could find her. But she was a really amazing psychologist or psychiatrist. I don't know which. But that book is one of the hardest books I've ever read in my life. And believe me, I've read a lot of books. A lot. And they say I'm supposed to have had this real high IQ. Right, okay. Supposed to have. Who knows? Right now, I don't think it's that high IQ, okay? Right now, I forget things. I'll be honest, I do. Went to the store and did my usual. Forgot that one little thing. But anyway, getting on with it. I'm kind of in a rush because I don't feel good. I'm recuperating maybe from what happened to me yesterday. I'm hurting pretty bad. Now, I'm going to tell you one other thing. A lot of people meet me and they think, oh, you can't be disabled. Oh, I had back trouble. Oh, I know what you mean. No, you don't know what I mean, hon. You really don't. When I talk back trouble, I am full of titanium from here to, I've shown it before, bottom of my butt, okay? It goes all the way down. And that bottom of the butt part, that's the part that's really getting bad. Okay? It's falling apart. Pieces of it are squishing the spinal cord right now. My legs go numb all the time. Can't feel them. I got one leg I know I could stick a knife in and never even feel it. I actually joke around with the doc about it. But you got to remember something. What you all see up at that store, the only store I ever go to, when I'm caning it through it, I'm real lucky I don't fall down because I have fallen in stores 4 times before. Now, the first time I fall in that store, they're going to be scared to death anytime they see me come in. Right now, they're all right with me, and they help me. Every time I go, they're helpful and wonderful. But anyway, I just want y'all to realize that what you're looking at is, if you took the skin off and you saw the real insides of me, well, first of all, there's 4 metal stents on one, I think it's on this side of my head. I don't know which side. They said the left side. It's always the opposite side, I think, of where your pain is. And right now, I got a pulsating pain on this side of my head that never goes away. Never. I have no idea what drug I could even take that would help. I don't think there's any out there that exists. Now, I'm not trying to make a big deal out of my illnesses, but here's the deal. If you can hold down a job, you're doing great. You're doing wonderful. More power to you, baby. Go for it. I would love to be able to have a job. Well, I can't. So what I call a job for me is writing. The best thing I can do is write, and even that makes these hurt so bad that I can't even hold an iPad. Can you imagine that? Not even being able to hold up an iPad because your hands hurt so bad that you can't move them. After you put the iPad down, you can't. It takes a while to start moving them for again. That hurts. That's hurt, boy. Let me tell you. Okay, now I described what I've been through, and that was just a little piece of it. There's a lot more than that. That was nothing. I left out a bunch of good stuff. The cancer. Let's see. They had to take it. I had pancreatitis. They had to take my gallbladder out. I was full of gallstones. I mean, jam packed. And the same day that all that happened, I went to a bike store and I had my son who passed with me. He was 6'2", strong as a bull, lifting part of my bike onto our trailer, okay, outside. And these bikers with the cigars in their mouths were watching this, and I'm ambling on in with my cane, and all I got in mind is these boys are going to give me back my merchandise right now because they were messing with me, okay? And I took my good friend Tom. I've written about Tom and everything. He passed away about 6-7 months before my boy did. Two very important people in my life. Very important. Of course, my son is. Always will be. But anyway, I shocked Tom a little bit. The reason I took Tom was, Tom was a scaredy cat. He was afraid of everything. But I told Tom, I said, now Tom, here's how you gotta look for me, okay? You gotta have a mean look on your face, the tough guy look, okay? Can you do that for me? And he goes, yeah, Steph, I think I can. And he had real long hair like I do, and, it was black, and, he was fairly thin still then, and I said, okay, now, and then my boy, Mr. Strong Boy over there, he was out there already picking stuff up and loading it up, he wasn't even wasting any time. So anyway, I get in there and these guys got their cigars hanging out of their lips. So I got my cigar out, lit it up. I used to smoke them. I never inhaled them though because I smoked for 26 years and it almost killed me just doing that. It's a shock on the life. That was 17 years ago when I stopped smoking, by the way. But I did like the taste of a good cigar. So I lit mine up, and then I took my cane and I put it right in the man's nose, and I said, now, we got to talk, boy. It wasn't sir. It wasn't Miss Nice Girl time. It was boy. Because these guys don't understand any other way, all right? They don't understand niceness at all. So, I planned this out real well, and I didn't have any trouble at all. And, for all they knew, I was carrying. In Missouri, you can carry. So for all they knew, I had a gun stuffed away in some of my stuff. They didn't know. But they knew they had a cane stuck up to their nose that if I pushed a little bit, They were going to be dead. One of them was. They knew that. Now, I would never kill anybody. That's a god-awful truth. But on the other hand, I'm not going to let someone step on me. And these guys were stepping on me. And I'd had enough. I really did. So finally, it was time, to do something about it. And I did. Now, whether you approve of it or not, it was what I had to do. This was the kind of life I had come from. Okay? You have to understand that. I used to ride Harleys. I used to be hooked up with the Chicago Outlaws. I wasn't part of the gang, but I had a boyfriend who was. Okay? These were the people that I know about. Okay? And I know how to deal with them. Very well, in fact. And so, we got the bike back. No problem. But the minute I got home, all heck broke loose. Okay? It was almost like punishment time. Oh, so you're going to put a cane up there some guy's nose, are ya? Well, we're going to show you. Yep, next thing you know, I can't hold it. There's no holding it. Alright? And you know what I'm talking about. You ever have a gallbladder attack, you definitely know what I'm talking about. But I had more than just a gallbladder attack. I was having pancreatitis too. Now that's a dangerous disease, okay? And you don't operate until you get that disease cleared up. So there's a story to that one too. But my son and that man, Tom, my best friend, got me to the hospital. Well, we went to the wrong hospital. And they were going to I overheard them. They were going to operate on me. And I thought, oh, no. We can't allow that. I had enough medical knowledge to know that that would have been the most dangerous thing they could have ever done. Fortunately, I lived in the Kansas City, Missouri area, and we had 1 million hospitals. So I decided I'm going to a different one now, where we have maybe some real doctors. Okay, so I did, and my son got very mad at me for doing that. He said, Mom, he'd call me Ma sometimes. Matt had his way, Ma. None of my children called me that, only Matt. Matt would call me Ma, like Grandma Ma, or Sally Oakley Ma, I don't know. It was something else, but he called me Ma. My baby boy would call me Ma. And he said, Ma, I've seen men cut open all the way through. And he was serious as could be. And when he said that to me in that other hospital emergency room, I thought, what has my son done? What in the world is he doing in the Army now? Because I thought he was fixing the helicopters. That's what his job used to be. I didn't know he had gone out and started saving people. I had no idea he was being trained to do that, but he was. He was. I wish y'all could have known Matt. He was the most humble human being. He was a shining star. Just a shining star. And it's a miracle that I was even his mother. The wild woman was his mother. But I guess the Creator, in all the Creator's wisdom, divine wisdom, knew that this young man was going to need a tough bringing up. And he had a tough bringing up. Yes, he had a wonderful life. He had a roof over his head. I gave him a home. And we had regular meals scheduled. I was a very organized person. I mean, super organized. And that's probably where the computer science part of me comes from. But anyway, but then there was this other side of me, the wild side, and it never went away. And I think I still have it today. I don't think it's ever going to completely go away. And I don't really know if I want it to. That's just who I am. You're going to have to accept me for that, okay? And that's something we're going to talk about right now, acceptance. You know, we've talked about expectations bring frustrations and all kinds of problems for us, don't they? When you expect something to happen and it doesn't happen, how do you feel? Pretty bad, right? So what's a better idea here? Go into a job review like I did and not have any expectations. Get the best job review you've ever had in your life, but no raise. No raise at all. The best review they give anybody in the whole bank and no raise. By two different managers, by the way. So here's what my spiritual advisors told me. They said, Steph, no expectations. Okay? Somehow or another, they kind of knew that this nasty thing was going to happen. And that was nasty to do that to her. I was a woman. They thought they could get away with it. Okay? Alright, so here's how I handled it. This is what they told me to do. They said, Steph, when they don't give you what you think you should get, okay, they just pat you on the back. Good job. Did a good job this year, Steph. Okay, you shake their hands, you thank them, you get a copy of that review, and I have it. I've got a copy of it right now. And you go back to your desk, and all those phone calls from those headhunters that you've been getting, well, now it's time to seriously think about one. Because you're going to have to let them know that you're of value. When you go into an interview, how do you go into it? Like you're begging for a job? Because if you're going in that way, you'll never get it. No, you got to go into the interview like you know everything. And you are exactly what they're looking for. Of course, you can't be totally perfect. But you have to come on like with a smile on your face, and you got to be, hey man, I'm here. I just solved all your problems. I walked through the door. And you got to have that attitude, and you'll get that job. You really will. Honest to God, you will. Because I got several jobs with just that attitude. I literally talked my way into one of my jobs. Didn't know a thing about what they wanted me to do. So I took a class to find out how to do it. But it worked. And that's how I learned how to become a database programmer. I was programming mainframes. I didn't know anything about PCs. That was when PCs were just starting out. So I had to go learn. What's this stuff, database stuff all about? Okay, let's go take a look-see. Let's go learn. And I did. And I became one damn good database programmer, and I'm not bragging on myself. I really did. And I wish today I could still do it, but I can't. I can't. My fingers can't. I can't. Okay? It's out of the question. So let's talk about this. Acceptance. I wrote up about my illnesses, and all of you went, oh my God. Or not all of you, but some of you went, oh, goodness gracious. You know, you're actually living. You're actually caning around. Yeah, but barely. And I do mean barely. I've had the wheelchairs, yeah, and the electric ones, but I can't bend my head, see? So I gotta have a thing up here to see what the hell, okay, what direction should I go into? Now, just imagine me trying to drive something like that. Forget it. It'll never happen. I broke that thing right off the bat, okay? It's up in my garage in the place that I'm trying to get rid of right now. Anyway, acceptance. We have to accept who we are. We have to accept all of the nasty things that happen to us in our life. We can't sit around and be, oh God, why did that have to happen? And it's hard. I have to accept a child's death. I have to be grateful that I had that child. For 34 years, I had that child. So I'm grateful. Thank you, dear Lord. Thank you. I'm going to talk about this real quick because we're almost done. First of all, I want to read you something. Here's the results of chaos. Self-centeredness, fear, anger, and resentment. Sound familiar? Ever feel that way? Those are the results of the chaos that might be in your life. Okay? Now, here are some very important defects that every human being probably has. Now, we probably have a lot more than this, but I'm going to give you the basics. Selfishness. Gee, could that be true? Yep, it is. Self-seeking. I want it. No, I want it. No, I want it. Yeah, we're all like that. You go to the grocery store and you're thinking, uh-oh, I better get over those shoes quick because I can see that other gal wants them. Okay, dishonesty. Come on, let's be honest. We have all been dishonest, and don't tell me you haven't been. Every human being in this world has been dishonest, even those priests and nuns out there. Shame. We all have shame. Every one of us. We learned it when we were children, babies. We've had that video, and we ain't done with that either. Guilt. That goes right along with shame. Shame and guilt. They'll eat you up alive. Envy. Oh, come on. You don't envy something about your neighbor? Don't tell me you don't. Come on. Jealousness, of course. I can remember times when I was a young woman. Oh my God, I was jealous of every gal that walked near my man. I wanted to scratch her little eyes out if she was at least bit as good looking as me. And I thought I was pretty damn good looking. Yeah. Sure. Talk about having a big fat head on your head, shoulders. Yeah, right. But, the sad part is, I had no reason to be jealous. Because the good men that did love me, because there were some good men, who honestly do and still do love me. They love me for me, not for breasts or for anything else that I might have. They love me for what's inside of this little noggin up here and what's inside of my heart. That's what I'm loved for today. And I realize that. So today, I don't feel that jealousness. I really don't. I appreciate a beautiful woman. I think they're just wonderful. I've seen several on Google Plus that are just fantastic looking women. I just want to tell them how beautiful they are, but I'm not gay. I just appreciate a beautiful woman, okay? I think that's a good pass through. I think I've come a ways. Possessiveness. Oh yeah, we know about that one, don't we? Yep, that's mine. You're not borrowing it. I'm not giving it away. Oh yeah. Anger. Oh, that's a biggie. I know a lot about anger. If you've read any of my stories yet, and they're not stories, they're my life. It's a real thing. It's not a story. I've even cut it down a little bit. I haven't told you the whole thing, and I'm not going to, because it's so unbelievable. It truly is. And for about several years, about maybe, I don't know, 5 years or so, I actually felt such severe anger in my body and soul that I think I could have been capable of killing another human being. I was so angry. And the people I were angry at were my own parents. Yeah. The people who brought me into this world. I was doing the blame game. And don't tell me y'all don't do that either, because I know better. I see it on Google Plus all the time. Okay. Self-pity. That goes right along with anger. Because you're going to be feeling sorry for yourself to get to the anger. Okay? There's a little, I could do a time chart for you, or a chart for you, and show you just exactly how it works. You're going to have that self-pity first, and then you're going to get to the anger. Okay? Negative self-will. Okay, now let's talk about that for a minute. There's nothing wrong with self-will. But negative self-will is the baddie. Okay? We want to have some self-will. It motivates us in doing the good stuff. It motivates me into doing these YouTubes, which I hurt like hell. Heck or hell, however you want to put it, but I hurt. And it ain't easy doing them. But it's self-will that's motivating me. And God gave me that self-will. But it's my choice to make it into a negative self-will. And that's when I go around carrying a gun and threatening to blow people's heads off. That's negative. We aren't going to be that way. Okay? Procrastination. Now, come on. Don't tell me you don't procrastinate. I do. Even today, I still procrastinate. Now, sometimes I can't help but procrastinate because this body just ain't going to do it. Okay? I may want it to. I'll beg it to, but no amount of begging or pleading is going to make it do anything on some days. Okay? But we know what procrastination will do. Nothing. Alright, now, preoccupation with others. Oh yeah, that's a goodie. Don't tell me you're not preoccupied with someone in your office once in a while. Get a little too preoccupied, don't do your own job. There's a lot of definitions of preoccupation too, and we'll get into that one of these days too. Now, fear of abandonment. Now, I know a lot about that. You know why? Because my mother grew up like that. I've watched my mother go through a horrible life, an absolutely horrible life because of abandonment issues. Horrible. When I get on the phone with my little girl now, you know what I do every time I talk to her? Rachel, I love you. I love you with all my heart. And sometimes I re-apologize for all the stupid things I did as a mother. And I know she knows I'm sorry, but I feel like sometimes I can't say I'm sorry enough. But you know, that's all part of learning how to be a human being. And we have to accept that. There's that word, accept. Okay? Then we have fear of no love. Oh, I know all about that. I've had that fear a good part of my life. Like, who would ever love me? Who could ever love me? I've had that fear, believe me. I don't anymore. I know God loves me. That's the first thing. So if God loves me, probably a lot of other people do too. Okay. Fear of the unknown. Oh boy. Woo! We're getting up on Halloween too. Woo! The unknown. Okay, now if you live in today, or if you live in the moment, you're not going to be afraid of anything. You know why? Because you're not going to think about the future. And the unknown is what? The future, right? So if you're not thinking of the future, you don't have any fear. And we have a definition for fear. False evidence appearing real. Right. Okay. Self-delusion. This is a goodie. Self-delusion. Oh boy. We delude ourselves into thinking that we're something else, baby. Or, you know, that we can do these things, these womanly things or these manly things, and we're just deluded. Okay? We're not living in our own real reality. Alright? That kind of goes along with self-preoccupation with others, because you're going to become self-deluded when you're preoccupied with what others seem to be able to do, and you think that you should be able to do what they can do. Well, we all have our own talents, okay? Accept that. Maybe you're not supposed to be able to do what that other person can do, and you need to accept it. You need to be happy with what you can do. And if you don't know what you can do yet, hang in there. You'll be shown. Trust me. God will show you. Okay. Now, fear of the truth or reality. Now, we've been down that road a little bit already, but that is a character defect. Fear of the truth or reality. The truth and reality are like this, okay? Some people don't want the truth. I won't get into a political discussion right now, but we've been down that road too. Alright, limitations from my fear. You know, when you have fear inside of you, you know what that does? It limits you. Yeah, that's what it does. See, I promote being unlimited. You shouldn't have any limitations at all. In fact, you should become unlimited. Read more. Learn as much as you can. We're only on this earth for a short time. Learn. Do whatever you can do. Be whatever you can be. Don't let anything get in your way. That is what I taught my children. And I have a son who might not be here right now, but he didn't let anything get in his way. He had cerebral palsy. Cerebral palsy. But he was in the army, and he's a hero. Okay. Pride and ego. Those go together, by the way. Some people think that it's good to have pride. Yeah, right. You get a little too much pride, and next thing you know, you got a lot of people hating your guts. Okay? We got a lot of actors that are very prideful. And I will not name names or any of that. I'm sure you all have your own actors that you feel that way about. Pride, we could do a whole section on pride, believe me, and we probably will. Okay, and of course, ego goes along with pride. They're kind of together on this deal. Okay, judgmental thoughts. That's a big fat no-no. Now, it's hard not to do that, believe me. Even I have great difficulty with that. And I don't mean even I like I'm better than anybody else. But I've been taught for many, 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 many years, 18 years. And that's not even very much, okay? And one of the things that I was taught, one of the first things I was taught was get rid of those judgments right now. You do not make judgments of anybody or anything. Honor and respect is your goal. Honor and respect, no matter what. Even if you disagree with their actions, that doesn't mean that's who that person is. Okay? Criticism. Okay, well, I'm guilty of being critical, but I try to do it in a healthy way. There's nothing wrong with having an opinion. We just have to be careful that we're not critical in that opinion, okay? We have to be very careful. I believe in the facts, please. Give me the facts, please. I'm a facts person. If you don't have the facts, I'm going to spit out what you give me. I'm not going to buy it, okay? Sorry. No facts, no nothing. Won't go with me. And you shouldn't believe anything from me unless I give you the facts. Only the facts, please. That should be your little saying. Okay, lust. Oh, come on. We've all lusted. Hell, I lusted the other day. I'll admit it. Even a 59-year-old can have lust. Now, I had an advisor that told me that if your lust is correct and honest, good feelings for another person, and you're not wanting to take advantage of that person, that you really would like it to be more than just that lustful feeling, maybe even develop into a love feeling, then lust becomes holy. That's what she told me, and I believe it because I've lived that. I have lived there. I made lust holy. Unfortunately, my partner didn't feel the same way I did. He was purely lustful, and that was it. So, nothing we can do about that, but I felt the holiness in my lust for this man. He was my last real boyfriend, besides Tom, but I don't consider Tom a real boyfriend. Anyway, the last thing on this list is expectations, and we already know how horrible expectations are. They're a no, 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 no. Don't do it to yourself. Take them out of your head right now. Oh, I expect her to do this. She's going to love me. Oh, good. Oh, good. And then the girl doesn't like you. Hmm. You meet her on a blind date, one of those stupid matchmaker things the. I was on them years ago when I was still not as bad as I am today. I actually did matchmaker. Yes, I did. How else are you gonna meet anybody? You know, if you don't go to bars and stuff, because I didn't go to bars. So I didn't know. I didn't realize God will handle that if I let God. You know, if I just get out of the way and let God do God's work, God will put that person in my life. And that's the truth. And if you try it, you may find out I'm speaking the right thing. So those are the basic defects that every human being holds inside their emotional stability as a human being. Every single person. Doctors, attorneys, judges, politicians, everybody. I don't care who you are, you have at least most of those defects. I can tell you that right now. Okay, I'm going to let y'all go. This is what I was wanting to get to the other day, but you can see why it would take so long. Hope y'all have a blessed day. Have a great Halloween. Matt loved Halloween, so today I went to the store, got Halloween stuff, and more other things I needed. But got Halloween stuff because even if I can't do it, I'll put it out there with a note. Remember your brother. And hope that some kid doesn't come along and take the whole thing that I put out there. Anyway, y'all have a great time, party, have a good time. Love y'all. Bye.